I'm so happy, yes, I am. That is how you become a living mystery. By singing because you're happy. Whatever your song is, however it is that you get there, that's how you become a living mystery. Or by serving because you're able, or by giving because you've been given to. That is, you do whatever you need to do to be in the mindset that you can do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. That's John Wesley, our Methodist brother's mindset. And it's what I tried to depict in your bulletin covers. If you look closely, you'll see Christ in you. It may have turned out a little bit darker than I planned, but I've got a feeling God's hand was in that too. It should not come as a surprise that the disciples struggled to believe. We understand them, don't we? We want to believe, but even here, within the walls of Christ's church, we live somewhere between belief and non-belief. So the question is why? Why are we, good, church-going folks, somewhere in between? A sad event happened at the Omaha Zoo about a decade before my family and I lived there. The zoo wallabies encountered a pack of dogs, and all 23 of the little kangaroo-like marsupials died. Ironically, the dogs never got inside the enclosure. You see, they didn't have to. Overcome with fear, the wallabies died by crashing into the walls, in the fence, and into one another to get away from the dogs. They were literally scared to death. These poor, cute little wallabies affirm the consuming strength and encompassing intensity of fear. In my counseling, coaching, and pastoring, I've known husbands and wives who were afraid to stand up to their spouses. Employees and employers afraid to stand up for the right thing. Salespeople who have failed because they feared rejection. I've known young people who've really messed up their lives because they were afraid to say no. Married folks who've got caught up in infidelity out of fear that they're no longer desirable. Older people who have given up on life because they no longer have the confidence in their abilities. The list goes on and on of lives that fear has crippled. When we have fear, we have a false view of reality. Fear makes us give up before we even begin. Have you noticed? It can be a word or just a few, and we go somewhere else. It causes us to take an alternate route than the road that leads to our ultimate destination. It makes us see obstacles rather than opportunities. Some of you may have read about the hysteria that swept our country some 70 years ago when towns began fluoridating their water supply. The health office in one small town received dozens of complaints That is, fluoridated water was discovered in their saucepans. It was discoloring their saucepans, and it was giving them digestive troubles. One woman even complained that the fluoride water caused her dentures to crack. You've heard this one before. But all of these complaints came in before the city even began to fluoridate. It's funny and it's sad, isn't it? See, fear is our enemy. It distorts reality. It derails us in an instant. And it becomes pervasive and an influence in our lives, and it becomes destructive. Knowing this, Christ says, why are you fearful? Consider the African impala, which can leap to a height of 10 feet and across a distance of 30 feet. Yet these creatures can be kept in their enclosure with a mere 3-foot-tall fence. You see, an impala will not jump if it cannot see where its feet will land. Christ adds to, why are you fearful? Look at and touch my hands and my feet. I was interested to read a little bit recently about General Norman Schwarzkopf. Someone asked the general how he was adjusting to retirement, and he said, 1 year ago, he answered, I couldn't issue an order and more than 500,000 people would obey it. Today, I can't even get a plumber to come to my house. General Schwarzkopf is finding out what it's like to feel powerless, at least relative to his former post as the commander of more than 1 million troops. Many people feel that way today, only with regards to, not only in regards to getting a plumber, but in dealing with all of life. They feel overwhelmed, defeated, powerless, sometimes without even knowing it. It can be a change in a season in your life. They are having troubles with their ability to control the reality of life. So Christ adds to, why are you fearful? And look at and touch my hands and feet. Have you anything to eat? And then he eats boiled fish. Back when Jen and I and the kids lived in Omaha, Jen went to a parent meeting at the Omaha Country Club. Josh was going to be a caddy there for the summer. Now, Jen hardly ever texts me, but as soon as she walked in the door, she texted me, just walked in the door with Warren Buffett. And just in case you're wondering, no, Josh never caddied for the Sage of Omaha. Warren goes there to play bridge. But that got me to thinking. Visualize in your own mind. Warren Buffett comes to you and says, I love you so much, I want to adopt you. And that means someday everything that I have will be yours. Think of how your life would change. Now imagine the creator of heaven and earth comes to you and says the same thing. You see it a little bit more clearly now, don't you? Friends, to be a witness does not consist in engaging in propaganda or even in stirring people up, but in being a living mystery. It means to live in such a way that one's life, that your life, would not make sense if God did not exist. Amen? Amen.